Question 35. Leslie has allocated $100 towards meats for his barbecue. His budget line and an indifference map are shown in the above figure. If the price of burger increases.
Okay, so now there's an increase in the price of burger. So what is going to happen to the quantity demanded for burger, for meat and all that? Things like this, we need more information before we can do this. Assuming there's an increase in the price of burger, it means that the budget line will shift inwards, right? Now, whether we are going to buy, even this one, have you seen how I've drawn it? It can even be like this. Okay. So is the person going to buy more or the person is going to buy less? If I draw the new indifference curve here, it means that the person is buying more of burger and then less of what? Of chicken. I can draw the indifference curve here, and the person will be buying less of burger and then more of what? Chicken, okay? So it would depend on the kind of good we are talking about here. Is burger a normal good? Is burger an inferior good? It can even be a given good, which will mean that even after the increase in price, the person will rather buy more of burger. So it means that we need more information before we can exactly know what is going to happen to either burger or the quantities of chicken that the person buys. Okay, so we don't have much information on it. So we need more information before we can answer the question. It's possible you buy less of meat. It's possible you buy more. I mean, all those things are possible depending on the kind of good. So I will go for D. Okay. All right, 36.
Number 36. Leslie has allocated $100 towards meat for his barbecue. His budget line and an indifference map are shown in the above figure. Which of the following bundles are in Leslie's opportunity set?
All right, so for opportunity sets, we are talking about all the affordable bundles. So those within the budget constraint and on the budget line. If you look at this, B is on the budget line. So B is part of the opportunity set. D is inside. E2 is on the budget line. I think D2 is on the budget line. But if you look at A and then C, they are outside the budget line. So they are not part of the opportunity set. So the opportunity set is made up of B, D, and then E. So B, D, and E, that is C, B, D, and E. Okay, so that is the bundles that are within the opportunity set. All right, number 37.
Leslie has allocated $100 towards meat for his barbecue. His budget line and indifference map are shown in the above figure. If Leslie is currently at point D.
Right, if you are consuming at point D, okay, what it means is that you are consuming so much of chicken and then so little of burger, okay? And we know that the equilibrium condition is MUX over MUY should be equal to PX over PY. So holding PX over PY constant. If you are consuming at point D, you are consuming so much of good Y, which means that the marginal utility of Y will be very small. Marginal utility of Y will be very small. You know that the more you consume, the lower your marginal utility. Okay, so because you are consuming so much of good Y, marginal utility of Y will be less. And you are consuming so less of good X, which means that the marginal utility of good X will be very high, which means that marginal utility of X over marginal utility of Y will be greater than the price ratio. Okay, so whenever you consume at this point, the MRS is greater than the MRT. If you consume at point E2, the MRS will rather be less than your marginal rate of transformation, which is the ratio of the prices. So if you look at the first possible answer, I think that one was about this one. For the first one, the value of the MRS will be larger than that of the ratio of the prices. That is the trade-off. Okay. And then 2, if you consume at that point, you are not maximizing your utility. We only maximize utility at point B when the budget line is tangential to the indifference curve. So if you consume at D, you are not maximizing your utility at all. And then because he's consuming so much of chicken, he's willing to what? To sacrifice more units of chicken for an extra unit of burger, which means that the marginal rate of substitution here will be very large. So that is the C part. It says that he's willing to give up more chicken than he has to be giving the market prices, okay? Because he's consuming so much of chicken, he's willing to give up more just for an extra unit of the other good. So it has to be all of the above. You are not maximizing your utility. MRS2 is greater than MRT. And then you are willing to give up more of chicken too. Okay. All right. Number 38. This is under production, but let's finish it.
Please, should I read the question?
Yes, please.
Which of the following statements best describes a production function?
So production function just shows the maximum amount of output that can be produced from the combination of inputs. So that is the maximum level of output generated from a given level of input. That is production. So when you do it, I'm sure you will understand that. And
39. If the average productivity of labor equals the marginal productivity of labor, then?
All right, so whenever MP is equal to AP, it means that AP is at its maximum. Okay, if you draw this is your marginal product, this is your average product. At this point, average product is at the maximum. Okay, so average productivity of labor is at the maximum. That is A. So 39 should be A. And then number 40.
40. The average product of labor is?
That is total output divided by the variable factor, so divided by labor. So the ratio of output to the number of workers used to produce that output level. So AP is equal to TP divided by L. So that should be D. That should be D.